welcome to episode 2 of Demi-God discussion. My name is Adrian.
My name is Randy.
Gianni.
And today we're going to be reviewing episodes 3 and 4 of Percy and the Olympians. So, before we get into it, we have 10 podcast downloads, you guys. 10 people decided that they wanted to listen to us.
Let's go. You made the best mistake of your life.
Honestly? Yeah. Jesus Christ. We have no idea what we're doing. I don't know.
All this is improvised, so we just hope for the best.
I have no script. I have maybe some notes on the episodes, but we wing it as we go through. So, thank you.
Yeah, and my memory.
And your memory, exactly.
Yeah.
So, my mind is like a steel cap. That's a really odd reference to, Sly Cooper, the fourth Sly Cooper. We gotta talk about that.
Nerd.
Okay, also, just some corrections from the last episode. I said that the Miss Dodds fight in the movie was not in the museum. It was. It's just, I've blocked most of that movie from my mind that I thought it was in the high school.
I wonder why. You're when I heard it in the car, I was like, could have sworn it was in the museum. For some reason, I just kept remembering all the statues and stuff.
Yeah, I just forgot about that because I like I said, I blocked it out. And also, I said something about Hercules turning into a god. He dies, actually. No, because in some interpretations he does. I mean, the most famous one is Disney's Hercules. He turns into a god in that one. But even in some other ones, he ascends to godhood. It's not canon. He ascends to godhood. The canon ending to his story is his wife accidentally kills him with a poison shirt. Don't ask me how. The inside of the shirt is poisoned or something. And so when he puts it on and he flexes to see how good he looks in the mirror, he dies. Just straight up dead, right?
Too much drip.
So those are the only 2 corrections I have from last episode. I'm pretty sure anyway, I don't think we need to correct anything else, right? I think we got everything.
It's perfect. Not really, but it's perfect enough.
It's perfect enough. It's good enough. Alright. So, let's just get right into it, yeah? Yep. We're just going to do the same thing as last time. We're just going to go through, and then we're just going to talk about it and see what happens. And then if you guys want to put anything. So, we start off the episode with Percy going into the attic to get his prophecy. They don't mention it. It's called the Big House, I think. The whole house that's just right there that has everything. It's called the Big House, but no one ever says anything about it.
Is it really that big?
It's described as really big in the books. I mean, kind of. It has the whole wraparound patio. I mean, you saw it in the second episode, so.
True.
Oh.
So he goes and he talks to the Oracle, who doesn't say anything to him until he calls her a Halloween decoration, and that's when she's like, "All right, I'm gonna fucking smoke this boy."
Literally throw smoke at him.
I'm gonna make you paranoid for the next 2 episodes now.
I'm gonna give you some trauma by giving you an image of your stepfather. And that's where we get the prophecy. I don't have it written down, but it goes, "You will go west and face the god who has turned. You will find what was stolen and see it safely returned." And that's all we get at that moment. Until later. Then we go to the selection process, right? Where he has to choose who goes on with his quest, and he chooses Annabeth. First thing, whatever.
Because, what was it? Because he thinks he needs someone to push him, so he chooses her or something?
Yeah, he says, if the quest needs someone to, push me down.
Make a certain, decision.
Yeah, to push me down a flight of stairs.
100% do it.
Yeah.
Right. Which Annabeth will. She's been waiting for this quest the entire time, and we have some tension in this episode as to exactly why Percy's there. But that's later. So he chooses her, and then we cut to Grover shoveling Pegasus shit. Which is his punishment because he told Percy about his mother. Right? So he's on shit duty, and then...
Literally.
Percy decides...
That was pretty crappy.
We're not going to keep making these types of jokes.
Too late. I'm gonna think of another one later.
I know you are, and that's gonna be a whole thing.
It's already a shit fest.
We're making such crappy jokes right now.
You said that one already. You said that one.
No, we didn't. Yes, I said that was pretty crappy.
That's the same thing.
Alright, sorry, I just had to touch his boobs real quick.
We're not gonna. No, stop it. Anyways. He chooses Grover to be the third companion of the quest. And then we get a flashback to, like, the second part of the prophecy. It says, "You will be betrayed by one you call friend, and save to fail what matters most in the end." So, he chose Grover because he trusts Grover, right? He's just like, there's no way Grover can betray me. There's, nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And...
Didn't Grover just betray him, like, an episode before that?
Yeah, but I think...
It was 2 episodes.
2 episodes ago in the first episode. I think,
Yeah, but that was to save him, so...
Yeah, one, that was to save him. 2, I think Grover telling Percy about his mom, like, really helped with their, like, relationship, you know what I mean? To the point where, like, they have all the history of, like, them being in school together. I think this just sort of, like, mended that relationship. So that's why he chose him.
Yes.
And Luke goes to see Percy off on his quest, and he has a couple golden drachmas and $200 in cash. I made this comment, how in the books they only give him $100. And if that is not inflation, I do not know what is.
Maybe they just thought Poseidon was being a little too poor.
What time does this take place?
Well, in the book takes place in like 2004.
Well, this guy's already flossing, so it has to be in the future.
No, this takes place now. The show takes place now in 2023.
Yeah,
or 2024-ish,
yeah,
right?
I mean present.
The book takes place 20 years ago. In 2004.
Bro, it's because Poseidon was not just... He wasn't showing his profits, bro. He was holding out on his time.
I mean,
like, he wasn't there the whole time. He's still holding out on money.
I mean, Percy says, like, oh, why didn't Chiron spring for plane tickets? Maybe they're just really greedy, you know what I mean? Oh, we gotta send this little turn
maybe they
quest.
just like... Or maybe the coins are more valuable to them than the actual cash.
For the Olympian, that is actually the case, because all the drachmas are used for, like...
Everybody, they just have people doing minimum wage jobs getting those $200.
Oh, crap, that's right. You bring up a really good point that they don't mention in the books. The way they get all their cash is by selling strawberries. So basically,
because they did they show it in the show? They have the acres of strawberries.
They don't. So I've just been like, all my Instagram reels have just been Percy Jackson, everything. Right? But something I've noticed is that a lot of, like, the little...
Keep going. Go.
Who's there? Who's that? Anyways.
Damn it, it's not my girl. Because I don't have one. I'm single, guys. Stop being a bitch. 99346.
No, stop. They don't even know what you look like.
Damn. Whatever. Just tell them I'm a big buff.
Beaner, curly hair.
Damn it.
Anyways, a lot of, like, little... like, just details that were in the book that help with world building, like, aren't there. The reason why in the book there's so much, like, tension and why it feels like there's a time limit is because there's all these natural disasters happening. There's hurricanes in New Jersey. A tornado touches down across the Hudson River. A lot of these things, you know? And it's meant to build up, like, the urgency that the gods are angry. You know? We haven't seen much of that yet. We get, like, a little Easter egg, but I don't feel like it's enough of, like, Mrs. Dodds, when she's in the bus, she's reading the newspaper that they're in Jersey, and it shows that there's a hurricane about to touch down. But that's the only mention we ever get. That, alongside the fact that they never mention anything about the strawberry fields. In the book, not that it's a big point, but, like, that's how they make all their money. You know, it works because they got all the Demeter kids and satyrs and, you know, Dionysus, that all the strawberries just bloom wonderfully. And then that's how they make all their money. But they don't really mention that in the show. So, I mean, again, it's not like a super important detail, but it's just something of, like, a little bit of world building.
They didn't explain the context. I'm going to stop watching the show. I'm quitting this podcast.
Oh my god.
The show's trash. Don't watch it.
You're stuck with us for another 4 episodes,
years.
2 movies, and 34
No, you're staying here for
books.
years. You're not leaving for years.
If you guys want to know how much of a nerd I am, I have like a whole list. I have a whole list of all the books. We have 34 books to review, Randy.
What?
Make it 35 once the new one comes out in September of this year.
I got dragged into
And because we're only doing this bi-weekly after this one. Next week we're doing another one, and then after that it's bi-weekly.
Oh God. Just do it weekly.
I do not have the money to keep doing this weekly.
Nor do I have the time.
Nor do you have the time. Bi-weekly is just much... It'll take longer, but I think it's more efficient for us anyway. Plus, are you going to read 12 chapters in a week? I think 2 weeks is better.
Easy.
Yeah?
Probably 2 weeks, yeah. It depends. If I get sucked into a book, I will probably finish that whole book in 2 days. If I don't get sucked into it, I will finish that whole book in...
Never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like One Piece. I got sucked into that. Now I'm more than halfway through the series.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna... If you get sucked into Percy Jackson, you're gonna have to calm yourself and stop where we stop. And if you don't, you're gonna have to... You're gonna have to power through. I'm gonna ignore that you said that.
You should have just gone and just passed it, bro.
Anyways.
What? Alright, I forgot where we were at now. You're talking about strawberries or something? Wait. Yeah,
We were talking about the inflation.
You're talking about inflation? How did we go from inflation to this?
Okay.
Okay, no, we don't need a recap.
We don't need a recap. Inflation to strawberries to books. That's how it went.
Anyway.
To depression.
How many coins did he get?
They don't mention how many coins. It's just a bag of golden drachmas.
12, bro. That's a fucking Ziploc bag.
Yeah. And
yeah.
it's used for all magical exchanges. And let's see. So, that's when Luke gives him the flying shoes.
Oh, give me your J's.
It's the high top Converse, which I know, Randy, you have a hot take about high top Converse.
They're the most uncomfortable shoes ever.
I have high top Converse. I love wearing them.
I've worn them many times.
I prefer Vans. I prefer skating shoes.
That says a lot.
What does that say about me?
That you a skater boy. Your shoes are falling apart, man.
Yeah.
It's not even like the cat. It's not even like the bottom or like the top. No, it's like ripping in half.
Yup. I will die for some Vans. If it was the apocalypse and I saw someone with Vans, I'm gonna do a Kratos. Chop off their legs, take their J's.
We're not gonna... That's the second time in 2 episodes that we've mentioned Kratos taking someone's drip.
Because we literally just talked about the Hermes coffers, bro.
You can't talk about Greek mythology without talking about Kratos. It's just the way it is.
At this point, it's become very intertwined. He's also very intertwined with Norse mythology, which when we get to Magnus Chase and the gods of Asgard, that's also going to be a whole thing. Because we got side stories, you guys. Okay, so he gives him the flying shoes. And we learn later that Percy can't use them for the same reason why he can't go on a plane. We'll get there when we get there. But he gives him the shoes, and then Percy makes a mention about how he almost chose Luke for the quest. And it's not mentioned in the books. In the show, it's more like Luke's like this friendly camp counselor who, Percy trusts, and, like, he helps him along because he's just a chill dude. In the books, it's more like not really like a sort of mentor thing, but like he trains him in all the sword fighting. But he didn't choose Luke because he's afraid that Annabeth is going to stop him from saving his mom. And if he had Luke with him, he was afraid that he would side with Annabeth. So that's why he chose Grover instead.
Fair.
What else? Oh, yeah. So after that, we cut to my favorite scene in the whole episode when we see Talia's tree. Which...
The roast that came... that tree, bro.
We learn how Thalia dies, right? Mm-hmm. I'm switching between Thalia and Thalia.
Die. It's just that.
No, she's basically dead.
Transform.
Her form was changed, right? So we learned
she was given a new life.
On their way back, they were being chased by furies and monsters, and Thalia stayed behind to buy time.
Absolutely clapped them.
And as she was about to die, Zeus changed her form to the pine tree. And the tree is actually what gives
It's a protection.
Yeah, it's their protection, so it gives them sanctuary,
it's
right?
Like the stave and it's like what the stave in like God of War, right? Something like that.
Yeah. So it's sort of like again, if you guys have played God of War 4, the protection stave around the forest, it's sort of like that, except it's just the one tree. And it's partly because like the tree marks as a boundary. I'm not sure if it's the actual boundary itself or if it's Thalia protecting that boundary. I'm sure we'll get answers later.
Isn't it Thalia protecting the boundary?
I think so. Again, I'm
because in the movies that's how it was.
Well, the tree itself. Okay, because spoilers. We remember Randy hasn't gone past that point. I'm trying because I know what it is,
it's a movie,
but I'm trying to.
Canon. I may be spewing bullshit for all you know.
But yeah, well, again, we'll get there when we get there. So as she's about to die, Zeus changes her form into a tree, right? And Percy's so like flabbergasted,
based as fuck.
Based like the universe's most powerful being, right? Method of saving his daughter is to turn her into a tree. That's it. Oh no, my daughter, she's dying. Tree. Grow.
You're supposed to be selfish.
The book gives a little bit more context just because, I mean, the gods aren't supposed to show favor to anyone, even their own children, which is bullshit, and they actually talk about it in the show quite a lot, about how they really don't agree with how the gods treat their children or how any of them act.
Yep.
And then we get the one of the biggest roasts of the entire show, when Annabeth is talking about how brave Thalia was and how she met a hero's fate.
He said a pine tree's fate.
More like a pine cone's fate.
A pine cone, there you go.
Oh god. Which I started dying when I saw that.
It was just it just came out of nowhere for me. And that was like the last thing I expected him to say. But it was completely necessary.
It was completely necessary. And then Annabeth starts leading them off, and then Percy questions why she's in charge. You know, I thought we were gonna raise the show of hands. You know, which, I mean, knowing Annabeth, it's very clear that she's gonna take charge. Yeah, even Grover just falls in line. I mean, Percy's new to because Grover knows Annabeth. Annabeth was just gonna take charge. He's a child of Athena. She's gonna know what to do. Percy, on the other hand, has just gone there. He's been there for like 4 days, I think. So obviously he's gonna,
Yeah, 2 asleep, 2 conscious.
4 days and somehow soloed a child of Ares and like 2 other soldiers.
True. In the book, it's only because he was in the water that he did it. I like this one just because like
it looks sick.
It looks sick as fuck, and then also, not that he's necessarily
disrespected like that.
Oh, okay.
My kid got destroyed by a 13-year-old.
If I was a child of the God of War, bro, I would whip his ass. That's my one mission.
Well, you are.
Yeah.
A little bit of context. We took some like godly parent like personality tests.
Godparents.
So just to see like who our godly parent would be, I got Hephaestus. I know we said that Randy was basically Hephaestus in the last one, but Randy, who did you get as your godly parent?
All right, take 2 seconds to guess. All right, it was Aphrodite.
It was Aphrodite.
I got her twice, and I got Apollo once.
He got Aphrodite, and then I got Hephaestus. And
Wait till you hear what Gianni got. Wait till you. Oh my gosh, you're about to love what I'm gonna say. Go ahead.
I took the test like 5-6 times. Every time I got Aries.
You know what that means? Me and Gianni?
No.
Yeah, they had like 7 kids.
No,
they don't. He has,
isn't like maybe like
2.
Yeah.
Aries and Aphrodite have 2 kids.
That means they had sex at least twice.
We're the children.
So Gianni, we had to make it canonical.
Yeah,
we had to make it.
We're the children of the gods, not the gods themselves.
It's just the way it is, Gianni. No, we had to do it anyway.
Well, I got a funny leg.
Bro, we'll have a body count.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
You got funny toes.
Look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, so now you got the context.
So that's the context. So yeah, I lost my train of thought.
No, okay.
Oh yeah.
So
you said he was soloing.
Yeah.
So he was soloing them. I think just because not that he's more powerful, I guess.
Maybe because he barely awakened the powers, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they underestimated him so much, and then when he freaking...
Obviously, they're not going to assume he knows how to fight.
Yeah.
And then he snaps Clarissa's spear, so that throws her off her game.
Gives
And
the
then
most
she gets
guttural
really...
scream
And
of
then
her
she gets
life.
really angry, and then she gets... No.
Yeah, she's like, "Ow!"
And then Grover gives a little bit of context to like to like the quest and how it's glorious and how it changes the tides of events and everything.
As a tool.
Wait, what?
It's Kratos, remember? He's all like, you must use anger as a tool. Not be overwhelmed by it or some shit like that.
Jesus Christ. I think what do you think Kratos would fit into Percy Jackson if he was like an actual... Well, I mean, now that I think about it, there wouldn't be a Percy Jackson.
He would try to be chill, bro.
He would, yeah.
Oh,
Poseidon, didn't Poseidon die in the third God of War?
Oh, he got his shit rocked,
He was
man.
a tutorial boss, bro.
He was a tutorial boss, and he got his shit rocked. Oh my god.
Yeah, I remember, didn't you start beating him to death or something?
Yeah, gouged his eyes out, snapped his neck, and then
that led to the deaths of millions.
Threw him down Mount Olympus. Okay. Old Kratos in Greek mythology in Percy Jackson, he would be chill. He would be chill, and I feel like he'd be really unproblematic just because he doesn't want to deal with that shit. Old Kratos, there wouldn't be a story. There wouldn't be a story.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be gods to begin with.
Yeah. Percy Jackson would be left an orphan.
And
dead because Kratos' actions led
he
to
kills
so
Hercules,
deaths.
and Hercules is a demigod.
Aren't their personalities also different compared to the...
True, yeah,
so
yeah. Maybe it would have been different, you know. Me personally, I don't think that Percy Jackson Zeus would have... Percy Jackson Ares, I think definitely... At least according to the books, I think he definitely would have killed Kratos' wife and child. Or had Kratos. So, it just goes down the same path. But, I think it would have just been Ares dying. I think the other gods would have backed off, just based on their personalities.
Yeah, they're like, okay. You know, he kind of smacks. A little kick to it.
The moment he beat Ares was the moment the gods should have taken that dude more seriously.
Yeah,
and they didn't, and they all died for it.
Zeus getting manhandled.
We've gone off track for this.
It's a podcast for a reason.
Well, yeah, obviously we're gonna go.
These are just the ramblings of three madmen, if you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is unhinged.
I don't understand how those, like... So, I checked, it was like 15 podcast downloads. I don't know why they're listening to us, if I'm gonna be honest. We're just rambling on and on and on.
I'm very sorry. From this point on, you should expect a lot of...
tangents and inappropriate humor.
Yep, very inappropriate. You're gonna hear a lot of, 2000s humor. Get ready.
Yeah. Where was it? Okay, so we get to the bus scene, and that's when we learn that Percy can't fly because Zeus is an asshole. Mm-hmm. And I think that's also why it's not like a big thing, but he gives. We see later he gives the shoes to Grover, and then they stop, and then they're deciding who gets off on the gas station to get the snacks, and then Annabeth just decides she's the one who's gonna go. And Percy gets upset, you know, and Grover sees he's getting upset, so he sings the consensus song, you know?
The consent song?
No, it...
I don't know the
song. It's a song after all.
I don't know the song. Consensus?
It's for the best that we don't know that song.
It is for the... Yeah. I'm gonna learn that song, and then that's gonna be our intro song. The consensus song is gonna...
Oh, hell no. You are not making that the intro song.
It's gonna be an acapella by us.
A choir. You somehow harmonize every note I do anyway, so it'll be perfect.
It'd be perfect. Yeah.
Actually, let me show it to them. Alright, Adrian, try to hit this note. Okay, that was awful. What was that?
I don't know. Because you're putting me on the spot.
You're putting me on the spot. So?
Put in that spot.
Anyways. Back to the show.
We might quote some homosexual rigmarole.
No, why'd you even say anything? Cut that out.
What are you guys talking about?
Cut that out.
That's not going in there.
That's going in there, trust.
Anyways,
on Instagram, they'll understand what we're saying.
Anyways,
okay.
So we after the consensus song, Annabeth leaves, and then Percy takes a stance on democracy, in which he says our voting system is broken.
Okay, I think you got.
Okay, we'll leave this for the end of the episode.
He was literally more talking about them instead of like everything else.
Yeah, we'll leave this for the end of the episode.
I think Percy has a very hard stance on how.
Homie can't read, bro.
Okay, so Annabeth in the gas station, right? She's looking at some snacks. She pulls out some balls or whatever they were.
They're like candies.
Candy balls.
Yeah, they were candy balls.
Bro, and she took like fucking 6 of them things.
Yeah, and so she was gonna go pay until she realized.
And she said, "I will come back."
I'll come back with
chips and sodas, and then she just got like.
Yeah, she got balls.
Well, okay, but she did get
balls?
chips. She did get chips. That scene was just because like she doesn't know what to get. She wants to get something.
No, she was getting hungry.
Oh, that too. Also, yeah,
cravings.
I don't know what those things are. They don't look good though. I don't know what they like. They just look like
jawbreakers. I don't know, right?
They
were way too big for jawbreaker. You put that shit, bro. You're not gonna have a jaw after.
Yeah.
Well, they are called jawbreakers.
Yeah, not jaw disappeared.
Fair.
Jaw evaporated.
What does she do? Yeah, she's a top G, right? So she realizes she needs to look out for some little demons, right?
Well, I think she just senses it.
Yeah, she just sensed it, bro.
Yeah, she gets the feeling.
The homies were walking around all suspicious and shit.
That is true. You know what? To be fair, she's a top G, so it makes sense.
Everybody was like casually dressed, and then you see people in trench coats.
It was very obvious. As soon as you saw who the demoness lady was gonna be,
as soon as you see a trench coat wearing motherfucker, you're fucked.
Yep. As soon as you see a lady with a short haircut, you know you're screwed. And
they were paying more attention towards Annabeth too, so.
Yeah, so that's how you know she's a top G. They were trying to assassinate her. No, they so she realizes who it is. So she realizes, right?
Well, they did. Well, they were more or less going after Thalia, but they were also trying to kill Annabeth back then.
True. They were trying to kill everyone there, basically. But maybe Grover, because Grover's chill. No, they were gonna kill Grover. No.
They were gonna kill everyone.
Yeah.
They don't discriminate.
You know what? If you think about it, that's the most modern thing ever. They don't discriminate when they kill.
Okay. I'm gonna take over.
So they go to the bus, right? She goes back into the bus, right?
Puts on her invisibility
She puts on the hat to disappear because she knows she's being followed by that person, right? So she sits down on the bus, right? The demon lady, right? And she's looking out the window like she's the main character.
You sound like Andrew Tate, right?
I sound like Andrew Tate?
Or like Tristan Tate, bro. You sound like
what does he say? Woman, right?
No.
I need to traffic woman
to
feel better about my sense of security. If you don't traffic women, how can you call yourself a real man? These are high value women, so you need to sell them at higher value.
This is satire. We do not mean this.
Satire.
Legally, this
real men would take everything.
Oh god. Okay, we're just parroting off Andrew fucking Tate. We hate Tate in this household.
No, just cut it all off.
Didn't they actually prove?
No, there was nothing.
There was nothing? So it was just nothing?
He's still an asshole, though.
Imagine how funny it would have been for me to be...
I mean, he did get raided because he opened a fucking pizza box.
He opened a pizza box?
He did, like, a stream or something, or, like, a video, and he had, like, a pizza box, like, open on his thing. And somehow, they used that pizza box to track where his address was, and then they arrested him. Andrew Tate got arrested because of a pizza box. So, that's fun. Anyways, I'm going to go back to explaining.
Alright, we'll leave it up to Adrian over here.
So, she sits down and she starts having a conversation with the... It's like, we're not going to... No,
leave the whole Andrew Tate part in.
Well, okay, I'm not going to cut off Randy explaining. Because, I mean...
Okay, don't cut off Andrew Tate.
Cut off the Andrew Tate.
Do not cut off Andrew Tate.
You know what's funny?
The fans, right? They don't like censorship.
Bro, shut the hell up.
I know you're left-leaning, but we don't like censorship.
You know what's funny? If I do cut it out, they're not going to have any idea what we're talking about when we're like the Andrew Tate shit.
Uh-huh.
I'll cut out filler here and there, alright? Anyways, so she sits down and she starts talking with the Fury, who's Electo. Electo's not like the main Fury. She's the main Fury in this series, right? She starts having a conversation about how, like she's tracking them and how they need Percy. And she makes a comment about how they were chasing Thalia before a family of squirrels made their nest her home.
If you're watching this, you need to watch the episode yourself so you can see that roast.
That's twice.
It was so perfectly delivered that I started laughing so hard. It was so good.
That's twice in this episode where they've roasted Thalia's tree.
Imagine dying and you just catch strays for just being a tree. Like, I would be so disrespected. You know what? I'm gonna hand this back to Andrew Tate. He needs to talk about disrespect.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
God, we barely talked about the episode.
It's been 31
minutes.
Okay, we're going. Jesus Christ.
Okay, speedrun it.
We're gonna take our time.
No, we're gonna speedrun this. We have an episode.
As long as it's below an hour and a half, we're good. All right.
Well, we have an hour left.
Yeah, we're fine. We learned that bees sense fear.
Oh yeah.
I think that's very important.
I told you guys this.
Bees sense fear. But monsters can also like smell certain things, right? Like emotions, like inadequacy, a need for glory. Again, I'm not all that caught up with the books. I haven't read the last couple of books just because I haven't really had time. But I don't think that's something that's in the books. It's just like that in the books, monsters can just smell you. You know what I mean? Demi-gods give off a certain scent that they can smell. I like this change though, because it gives each monster, I guess, personality, and it ties into later with the whole echidna scene, which we'll talk about when we get there. Annabeth decides not to turn over Percy, and oh yeah, Annabeth kills Electo's sister. She just spawn camps her when she goes into the bus.
Oh yeah, she just goes in and then she
pulls up like she's just spawned in.
I am here for Perseus, and then just gets a fucking knife in the chest.
Yeah, like what's good, and just immediately gets stabbed.
Back to Tartarus. All right, respawn.
I would be so pissed if that happened.
You're done.
This is like what happens to me when I play Battlefield. I spawn in on squad and it's
imagine like waiting.
Yesterday is Poseidon when you spawned in.
What happened?
The Thanatos when you were all in, but then you freaking just killed him.
Oh yeah! Oh, that was beautiful. Okay, we'll talk about our Smite team play later because this just proves me and Gianni are kissing.
Kiss for the mic, will you? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Fuck her up, Gianni.
So they leave the bus. they leave the bus and they find a Satyr path. And on the Satyr path, Percy finds out that it's not just his father that's an asshole, right? It's most of the gods. And between this episode and the next episode, we learn that Athena is a woman-hating bitch. Alright? Athena does not like women for whatever reason. Alright? She's not a feminist.
You know what? I can't blame her. I don't...
No! Cut
that.
Don't cut that out.
Just put like, you know what? And then cut it out.
I'm gonna just edit in. Randy then proceeded to make several sexist remarks over the course of 20 minutes.
He invited Andrew Tate back to the podcast.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Because, gods don't answer their children, right? He asks, like, Annabeth, like, oh, get help from your mom, right? You guys seem close. But it's not that they're close, it's just that Annabeth looks up to her mom. You know, she worships her mother because she's a god. But she doesn't ask for help because that's looking weak. You know, she doesn't want to call camp for help because then they'll make a mistake. Percy's all fine with that, you know. And we learned that Grover was actually Annabeth's satyr protector, right? Mm-hmm. He was the satyr that was supposed to escort Luke, Thalia, and Annabeth to camp. And so he feels like he failed in that because Thalia dies.
He did.
Well, yeah, he did. He did because his main objective was to bring Thalia to camp. And she's the only one who died.
I mean, it worked out in the end. She's a tree now. The squirrels have a home.
The squirrels have a home. And that's all that matters.
Yep. Nature.
And then we get a little bit of mention of Grover's Uncle Ferdinand. And then they come across Auntie M's Garden Emporium, which is where we get the title of the episode, which is... What's the title of the episode? I don't have it written down.
Okay.
Something, the Garden of Emporium. Like, we meet the Garden of Emporium or something.
Episode 3.
Doing some on-the-fly research right now.
Yep. So what happens after they encounter
we visit the Garden Gnome Emporium.
We visit the Garden Gnome Emporium, yes. That's where we get the name of this episode. And then Electo comes flying out of nowhere, right? And she's about to kill him. And then we meet Medusa. Randy, your thoughts on Medusa, please. I want your true, honest thoughts on Medusa.
You think I can exchange coins for some of that Medusa?
Oh my god!
You would not. The things I would do for that Medusa, bro. Look, it's not my fault that the actress for Medusa is so hot, okay? It is not my fault. I can't control what I feel. I can only control how I say what I feel, and I will say that she's hot.
No.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on Medusa. Also, she had a point. That's all I'm saying. She had a point. Maybe she didn't need to take it out on the kids, but she had a point.
Well,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
So, Medusa offers them a choice on whether they stay with the Electo, who's going to kill them, or they go with her, and she's offering them lunch. So, they go inside, and my next bullet point is, I already said it, Athena is a woman-hating bitch. Because, obviously, Annabeth is not going to like Medusa, you know?
Yeah.
But, I don't know, Medusa starts explaining her backstory, right? About how she used to worship Athena. Which, this is canonical. In actual Greek mythology, Medusa was a priestess, I guess?
Something like that,
for Athena. Right? You know, she worshipped her, and Athena never showed her anything, right? Never, and not even an omen, to see that she had gotten any of her blessings or anything like that, right? And she would have been fine with that until Poseidon comes along.
Shows her a bunch.
Shows her love, you know? And then Athena comes out of nowhere. This is so you know how you'll always have that fucking loser in high school who has a crush on a woman and then never talks to her and then gets mad when their crush gets a boyfriend?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's Athena. I never shows anything for Medusa. Never does anything at all.
She never puts out, bro. Not even on the first date.
And then, I put out before the first. Anyway.
Or.
Never does anything. And then as soon as Medusa's like, oh my god, this god is showing me love, Athena says, fuck you, and then turns her into a monster, right? Gives her snakes for hair and makes it so that no one can ever look her in the eyes anymore. Medusa chooses to look at it as a gift because now...
No one can bully her. No one can bully her.
Yeah, no one can bully her, right? You had all those statues on the front lawn. No one messes with her. That's why Electo herself doesn't fuck with her. You know what I mean? Annabeth is still...
Especially some of those monsters in the front lawn, bro. Them shit's weird.
Yeah.
I want to see some of those. Those, I think, would look cool. You know what I mean? I didn't really pick up on, anything specific, I guess.
Those things look like they would fuck. Alright?
Literally or metaphorically? Or both?
Both.
Both? Okay.
I was going to say metaphorically, but then you said literally, and I was like, might as well. Calm down.
As well.
You know what? Julian's got a point.
And, okay, Annabeth still chooses to side with her mother, you know? She says that she's a righteous god, that she does everything for a purpose. But, I mean, you hear Medusa's story, and that's not the case at all.
That's because Annabeth only knows, the stories they were told.
Exactly, you know? And obviously she's going to side with her mother. I mean, it's her mother.
Mm-hmm. And also someone she's idoled for God knows how long. So,
Medusa asks for a Medusa asks for help in the kitchen, and then she, like, when Percy goes to help, she offers to kill Grover and Annabeth, right? And Percy dips. Percy just gets the fuck out of there.
Didn't even take the hamburgers.
Oh yeah, there's a tray.
There's a tray full. Okay, so at first I thought it wasn't important, but then we get to the next episode and they make a comment about how they're hungry, right? Trays of cheeseburgers and milkshakes and all that candy and fries. They don't take any of it.
Yep.
Any of it. It's just right there. I don't care if it's poisoned. I'd fuck that up. All right.
Mm-hmm.
At least my last meal would be glorious.
But she had to have like those fucking containers you can put meals, dog.
Yes. See, the thing is,
Medusa
they are poisoned because Grover is eating an egg roll. It's not like she didn't poison that one specific. She was just like, you know what? I'll poison everything else but the egg roll. All the food was fine.
But the egg roll.
I mean, she didn't need a poison. She just looked at someone.
Yeah, that is true.
You know?
She just she has to do the thing from One Piece where Luffy looks at them too hard and they die.
Oh, they go unconscious.
They die. It's okay. One Piece is a very violent manga where everyone dies.
Sure. This
A lot of people die, yes, but
I didn't know we mixed up the names of Berserk and One Piece, but okay.
Berserk is the reason why I'm a
Medusa seems like the type of woman to have Tupperware. You know what I mean?
To have Tupperware?
to be from that type of world, right? That's what you said? Wait, what'd you say?
To have Tupperware.
Oh, I heard something else.
Huh?
So they go to the basement.
Okay.
And then Athena says a line that she says before, but adds on to it. She says, "We are not our parents until we choose to be." Right? The daughter of a self-righteous mother choosing to be self-righteous for herself. You know? Which Athena is very self-righteous. Very. I don't like her. In the myth, she kills her best friend and then takes their name. It's a whole thing. That's a sociopathic thing to do, my guy.
And then what happens in the actual myth with Poseidon and Medusa?
Exactly. It's just...
If you guys don't know...
No.
No, we already said it last episode.
Yeah, we said it last
episode.
episode.
I was about to say, we mentioned it in the last episode. But that just makes Athena so much worse.
So much worse.
Imagine having violence inside upon you and you get cursed for that. Like, oh
and
man,
you
I
don't
got
bother
murdered.
anybody. You don't bother anybody. Her sisters were also cursed as well. They don't have like the stone thing, but they get turned into gorgons.
Yep.
And then you don't bother anybody. You live in a cave the rest of your life.
I mean, at least this one looks more human.
And then your head gets cut off in the myth.
Speaking of
in the myth, wait, did they have more snake-like features, or was it just the hair?
I think it was just the hair.
Yeah.
I think it was just the hair.
Imagine she looked like she didn't smite, bro.
Oh,
Some of the that's a more Western interpretation. Her having the snake tails. Dracone have 2 snake tails. I think I'm pretty sure. So yeah.
No,
don't worry about it.
Continue.
Just ignore what I said. Continue.
Continuing on. Grover puts on the J's. And
and he starts flying away.
Flies off into the abyss.
He's trying to come up with the plan.
Like, Grover is never seen again. He dies at that very
No. But it's so funny.
It's just
he just fucking floats away into the
you
black.
just don't see him. He's just gone. He's like, whoa, whoa. And then he's just gone. That's it. He doesn't appear for like 5 more minutes.
So then that's when Medusa comes out. And then Grover clutches up and goes to swing at her, misses, lands into the statues, but it distracts Medusa long enough for Annabeth to put the cap on Medusa's head. And the next note I have here, because you guys told me to write it down, says, "So no head."
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So no head.
Not
Honestly,
anymore.
that's a pretty genius way to not use as much budget on showing Medusa getting her head cut off.
Exactly.
Or censoring it, too.
Exactly. I mean, you get to the movie and they use a fucking iPod. It's Percy that comes in the book. Annabeth comes up with like the thing to like use a sphere. In the movie, Percy's like, "Oh my god, I'm a hipster teen, so I have an iPod." And then Annabeth drives a fucking truck into her. It's so wild. And then in this one,
I like that. I don't know about you, but I like that.
I was fine with it. I mean, the iPod, bro. Everybody had a fucking iPod back then.
Yeah.
But you had an iPod. There's no fucking way, like, the average teen's iPod could reflect that well.
Bro, I had like 4. Like, they were all like
every
that.
team was crust. Take that back.
No,
Not every team was
it'll be the
crusty.
back that reflected. So, bro, I had like 4. All of them reflected.
I guess.
I said 4. I fucking put up 3.
But it's an audio podcast, so no one would have ever known had you not mentioned it.
I don't care.
It's fine.
So
no, leave it in.
Okay, I agree with you, Randy. It was a very nice way to like censor it and like save budget on it, right? Yep. So they cut off her head, and then Percy uses it to kill Electo, right? They take it to the front. He takes the cap off, and then she turns to stone and dust. So Percy's kill count is now at 4. Right? He's killed 4 things so far.
He's killed that Demoness lady. He's killed the Minotaur. He's killed Medusa.
And then Electo again. That's 4. And it's gonna keep going up. The amount of.
If you think about it, he's a psychopath for killing so many people.
No.
No, they all deserved it. They all tried to kill him first.
Dark Souls.
Okay, to be fair, in Dark Souls, I am pretty psychopathic. I kill everyone, basically.
Yeah. Anyone next?
Anyways,
yep.
They go back down, and we learn that Uncle Ferdinand is unfortunately dead.
Homie was looking up, bro. Medusa had to jump at him or something. Though.
Yeah, she did that Five Nights at Freddy's, like, boxing jump scare.
Anyways.
I will say, though, that did him seeing Ferdinand, is that his name?
Yeah.
Led to some very big character development moments, which you probably don't know this about me, but my favorite thing about stories is character development. Mm-hmm. So I very much enjoyed the upcoming scene, in which Grover puts them both in their place.
Exactly.
Obviously his emotions are running high, so he has the big goat balls to say what he wants to say, and that is that Annabeth is being too controlling, right? She's being very stubborn, right? And that Perseus I forgot what he said to Percy, but that Annabeth had a point about him. Yeah. That's what I remember. That he is scared.
So the thing about I think he mentions the thing about Annabeth, or he switches. First he gets on Percy for saying that they should leave the hat on the head and then bury it, right? Because the hat is the only thing that Annabeth has to her mother. Mm-hmm. Then he gets on Annabeth about like how his mother's still alive. You know, it's very confusing for Percy. He has to choose between the fate of the world and his mother. You know, he's probably gonna have to do that, and she has to lay off of him. You know, but then he goes back to Percy and he's just like, "But Annabeth's right. What are you so afraid of? You know, you've been dodging you never answered her back in the woods. You've been dodging it the whole time. What are you so afraid of?" I have written down here that Grover is better at confrontation than deflection, because he tries to deflect like what was it? When they're talking about like Thalia back in the woods, he just keeps trying to deflect it by really awkwardly mentioning, "Oh, my Uncle Ferdinand was here." He's not good at it. Mm-hmm. Here, yep. He's really good at confrontation. He's really good with counseling them, you know, and like getting them to move forward. And then that's when we learned that Percy chose Annabeth because he didn't think they would ever be friends. And he chose Grover because he trusts Grover with his life, you know. And sorry, we had to cut a little bit out because the door moved on its own. So he's afraid he's gonna get betrayed, right? So that's why he chose those 3. And I forget those two. Yes, I apologize.
Minor spelling mistake.
Good. And so that's when Percy decides, like, you know what? Fuck Olympus. Fuck my parents. Fuck my dad. I'm gonna send this to Olympus. Anyways, so he starts to send the the head to Olympus, right? He takes the cap off, gives it back to Annabeth. And there's a funny line where Annabeth's just like, "The gods are not gonna like this, you know, this is bad, they're gonna think you're impertinent." And Percy replies with, "I am impertinent." And that's taken straight from the books. I love it. I love his line delivery. This whole episode, I think Percy was just very, like, Walker Scoble was very Percy. If that makes sense. Yep. I love his line deliveries. I love his sarcasticness.
does very well.
Does really well.
Portraying him and how I think Percy would be with how he grows up.
Exactly.
I very much like their actors.
Yeah. So they send it over. On the packaging, right? Like when on the package you see it says like, oh, to like Olympus, like Empire State Building, 600th floor, or something like that. That's actually taken straight from the book. It almost looks like it was copy pasted because they have it like in a certain font and everything. And then we get a Hermes cameo. We see Hermes, who's the actor is Lin-Manuel Miranda, something like that. He's in Hamilton. That's where everybody knows him from. He's a good actor. He's cool. And then he goes to Olympus and he's like, guys, you're not gonna believe this. You wanna know who didn't believe it? Athena, because she chose to try and kill her 12-year-old daughter. Segue to the next episode. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, and that's where it ends.
That's where that
credits.
So head? No.
So
so That's bad. Or I think
just have it cut out right there.
So head.
Just like so head, and then it.
I thought it was the best episode so far.
Yep, pretty good. I know I gave the last few episodes like what 7.5 because I was like, well, it's just the beginning. Things are gonna ramp up. This episode does a very nice job at ramping things up. The tensions get high between characters and between looming threats and between the prophecy. Mm-hmm. I very much liked how the characters interact with each other. And this especially carries over very well to the next episode, where obviously they develop further, how their friendships grow. And I like it because it feels natural. It doesn't really feel forced. Mm-hmm. So I gotta say, I think this episode was like an 8.5. It was very, very enjoyable.
I also gave it an 8.5. I love the dialogue between everyone. I thought it was very... Like, I feel like the pacing of the episode was also really nice. You know? Yeah. Like, it didn't really feel too forced or anything. The progression was really straightforward. What about you, Gianni?
Fuck, what did I give the other episodes?
The first one you gave a 6, and then the next one I think you gave a...
Like 7.2 or something?
Like a 7.5, I think.
Yeah. Something like that.
Give it like an 8.2. Come on. What if there's room for improvement?
8.2.
What if it gets
okay. Well, okay. Me. That's why I haven't given anything a 9 yet.
A god fight happens.
Dude, if the gods fight, bro, I think I'll just be like 12 out of 10.
12 out of 10. I don't think I'm ever gonna give anything a 10 out of 10, just because I feel like there's gonna be a little bit of room for improvement. And
yep.
I'm gonna give my opinion on differences between adaptations right now. I'm the type of person to where if there was ever an adaptation that was 1-to-1, that would be my favorite. That, like, I would want an interpretation that's straightforward, 1-to-1, everything. That's why when the Percy Jackson series was first, like, being, like, what was it? Like, when it first got approved, I was upset that it was live action and not animated, right? However, that doesn't mean that I'm going to dig on every change that they make as long as it serves a purpose. Everything that they've done so far, I feel like has served a purpose. You know? And again, there's like little things here and there, like little backstories and context that aren't necessarily translated very well.
But they work.
But other than that, you know what? I'm all for it. I'm with it so far.
Yep.
Also, the editing got better because the cuts in the first one are a little wonky.
Yeah.
Yeah. That also had to do with the pacing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. They wanted us to look at Chiron for a little too long.
I feel like that was also for comedic effect. That was pretty funny. That was pretty funny.
Also the cut from apartment to his dream was a little long.
Oh, yeah.
That was like fucking just out of nowhere.
2 seconds, it went from apartment to dream to beach. Mm-hmm. It felt so odd. It felt like I just teleported there.
Yeah. Speaking of dreams, that's how we start the next episode. I'm the segue master.
Jimmy Bull makes his first cameo.
I'm the segue master. Tell me that wasn't a good segue.
No, that was pretty bad.
Fuck you. Start the next episode.
Alright, so we'll move on to the next episode now.
Once you mention a segue, the segue just doesn't work anymore. Because now you're taking a break.
Yeah, because you said it like 3 times, so it's your fault. Yeah,
that is my fault.
You were jerking yourself off. Talking about
I was.
Your segue
I am. And now, right now.
Yeah. You know what?
Stop.
Look at me.
Stop.
Oh, God. Leave Jump it in. All right, so
okay, next episode.
Episode 3 only took us almost an hour. We'll see if we can.
We'll see if we can get this done in less than 30 minutes.
We don't want to take too much of your time.
We can. Okay.
This one feels.
Episode 4 definitely.
It feels. I feel like it's not that.
I feel like it had like less.
It's not that it had less content. I feel like it was more straightforward.
I guess.
So it just has main plot beats. You know, this one is actually the one that I have the least amount of notes.
I feel like less things to talk about. More
things are more shown and not talked about. I guess. Yeah.
There's a lot more action in this episode.
So we start off with the dream. Fun. Well, actually, it is flashbacks for the dream. We see that Percy, when he was younger, did not like swimming at all.
Which is apparently different.
It's in the books. It's not really like a thing, I guess. And in the movies, it's shown that he loves swimming.
In the water, just 10 minutes straight, sitting in there.
He's chilling. Also, you might want to charge your laptop.
Okay. Well, you guys entertain the podcast.
Okay, pull up the notes. Okay, so in the meanwhile, we will be talking about the podcast for you. Let me just grab his notes. Okay, so
this man made a horrible mess.
I'm your host, Randy Diaz Castañeda. Alright, so we start off...
You're way too close to the mic, but you're going to rape her ears.
Okay, whatever, you get the point. So we start off on the dream... Wait, no, we start off with the flashback ending. I'm very sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, we're shown with Perseus and his mother the first time when he was in a pool, right? He was too scared to swim, and his mom was getting a bit heated up. She was getting a bit frustrated. And so Perseus says, "Calm down, mother. Relax. Breathe." That's what you always tell me.
Especially with the people staring at them.
Yep.
Because she was...
So it's kind of a way to show just how close both Percy and his mom were, and why, and pretty much reminds the audience.
Also, like, how much he relied on her.
Yep. Pretty much showing the audience just how much Percy's mother matters to him, and why it's such a hard decision to go through with the quest.
You sound so educated now.
Well, yeah, I have the notes with me now. Which, how the hell do I read this?
You never sound this educated.
So it skips right into the dream where some dude was like, "Welcome back, Percy," or whatever. He's wearing in a hoodie cloak. He's like, "Percy Jackson, you forgot to fill out your paperwork." And then he gets sucked into sand, like as if it's a Mario.
No, he says, "You're a forbidden child," right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
You know, a forbidden child
attracts doom.
A forbidden child brings attention. A forbidden hero brings doom.
This one feels a lot better. Holy shit.
Yeah, it feels amazing.
We switched chairs.
I got this, Adrian. I'm sitting like this, bro.
So again, I'm gonna listen to what you guys are saying. I'm probably gonna keep it in if it was good.
Yeah, that's fine. It works.
We may or may not have mentioned a certain bowl.
Creepy bowl.
But
like it was for like an instant, and then we just went off.
Yeah. So basically,
so we already talked about the dream, right?
Yeah.
He wakes up on the train, and he starts having a conversation with Annabeth. And Annabeth gives a little bit of her backstory about how she ran away when she was 7, how she was given as a gift to her father, and
how like Athena's children are made.
Athena's children are made from her thoughts, which brings up the question: do any of Athena's children have belly buttons?
No one thought of that question, but you know.
Honestly,
no.
This is from her thoughts, right? I mean, that means she has to think of the child. She has to visualize it.
I mean, she would also think of them like with a normal body. So maybe
she would probably visualize them with the belly button.
No, you guys have no idea. For the longest time in the Percy Jackson fandom, back when it was just like the books, it was like a question that people would ask: Does Annabeth have a belly button?
I feel like they do, because like she thinks of like a standard like body, and then boom.
Well, yeah, obviously, but also I think Percy asked the question in the book actually if she has a belly.
What a real man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the same thing. Let me see.
What?
Obviously they do, but I mean, no umbilical cord, no belly button, but you know, so. Her father remarried to another woman, and they had their own kids, and then she viewed Annabeth as a problem, so she ran away. That's when she met Thalia and Luke. And she also gives the context that she had to work to earn respect from Thalia. And that's why she's making Percy work to gain respect from her, you know? And then Grover
explains it.
Yeah.
Because doesn't Percy ask for that? Like, do I have to now work for
Yeah. She was like, yeah, maybe. Grover wakes up, he's grumpy.
Oh, that would be too if some two people decide to share their souls out when I'm trying to sleep.
So, okay.
Shit.
This takes place at night. The last scene that takes place before the cut is the next day. But it's made to look like it's that same night. But it's not. It's the next day. It's like literally right before the cutscene.
Okay, maybe then they ran out of food then. Maybe that's why they're hungry.
What do you mean?
Because remember they said they're hungry?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they ran out of food.
A meteor comes in and crashes into their trolley. Jump cut, then we go to them outside, right? Or, like, outside their trolley in, I guess, like, just a train compartment, right?
The eating one, right? Fuck, what's it called? The food cart. Something like that.
Something like that. Here...
Dining cart.
Oh, no, I forgot to mention that Percy just keeps shit-talking more and more gods. Right? Like, he's just That's like, real. Have to, like, what was it? Like, have to burn food to get their attention. Or have to beat up on Clarice to get my father to admit he's my father, Yeah, he doesn't agree with it. He doesn't like it. I, personally, having a very absent father figure who I would always have to do something to get some sort of attention, I vibe with that really well.
I had a loving father and a loving childhood, so you know how.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you so much for reminding me of that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, that was.
That was the fakest laugh ever. What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Okay.
So they look outside. They're back in the food cart. They look outside. They see some centaurs, right? And here we learn of Grover's plan to become a searcher. A while ago, Pan, the god of nature, disappeared, and ever since then, the humans have been polluting and corrupting the natural world. So satyrs, if they're, like, once they get to a certain age, unless they're brave enough, get a searcher's license and go and try to find Pan. We get the implication that they haven't gone very far, like they haven't even gone past Trenton, like past New Jersey, because Medusa probably stopped them, or something, you know what I mean? For some reason or another, right?
Yeah, what's their starting point?
I think it really depends, because there's satyrs everywhere, but the Cloven Council, or the Council of Cloven Elders, is in Camp Half-Blood. So they probably start from there and search outwards, you know what I mean? But no searcher has ever come back. Ever. Once they leave, they don't come back, right?
Well, we saw the fate of one.
We saw the fate of Uncle Ferdinand, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And here we see them get arrested, right?
Oh yeah, because they're accused of destroying the cart.
Yeah, so they... an officer comes up and asks to see their tickets, and they go back to their cabin, and the windows are completely smashed, right?
The whole room is trashed.
The whole room is trashed, everything, right?
Yep.
And this lady who was in the cart over says she heard it crash and heard children laughing. So then the officer thinks that it's them. Annabeth decides to talk back, and then the officer, being a little piece of shit, decides to arrest them. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to get into my opinion about police officers. That's a complete other thing.
Yeah, Adrian is a liberal. He's a communist.
I'm not a communist! Oh my god!
Continue.
I'm left-leaning.
Left-leaning commie.
I'm not sure if Grover can smell monsters like he can in the book or not. It's really weird.
He said he's able to like sense them in the first episode, but some of them were hidden by the mist or some shit.
I think so. I think they might just be ditching it, I guess. But it's sort of like an important plot point. Or maybe these are
like more advanced. I mean, she's like the mother.
Yeah. So
Mist was working overtime, bro.
I think so. Like,
yeah, especially in that bus, bro. They fucking where the Fury fucking crashed into the bus thing.
Nobody talks like nobody even turned around.
Just kills.
Yeah, no one even mentions that a child freaking stabbed something.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we get introduced to Echidna, which is why in the books he doesn't see her because they're underground, and underground smells like monsters to satyrs. Right? So, I don't know, and then it becomes like an important plot point in the third book, but we're not there yet. At this point, I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, it's just a little...
Maybe it's a little underdeveloped in the show.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, I think it's okay. We get introduced to Echidna, who has a little talk with them, and it offers more insight into... The thing I've noticed between the first episode and last episode and this one is that the monsters, I guess, aren't necessarily monster-ish. Like, they have their own personalities, and, like, the closest monster we've seen to, like, monster, I guess, would be the Minotaur. Right? You know, like, Alecto, Medusa, Echidna, they all have their personalities, you know, they all have, like, some sort of, like, higher thought. And I guess if you really think about it like that, the Demi-God, in her view, is the monster. You know, like, very destructive, very everything. But obviously, these are our protagonists. We're going to side with them, you know. And so, she has a little baby monster in her carriage, right?
It's very cute.
Very, very cute, very adorable, until a giant fucking tail comes out and stabs Percy in the chest with a stinger.
Yep, and he dies right there on the spot.
Dies. Vanishes in a golden light. No, Annabeth pulls out her knife, gets tossed in the air, but then manages to stab the thing down back onto the fucking table. I thought that was pretty cool.
Like a top G.
I'm
like
just
I
saying,
said,
bro, how did she not get cut by like all those spikes?
All the spikes? I don't know. She probably like lashed her like arm like around one of them. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, she's a trained demigod. She's been there for 5 years training straight because she's a year-rounder. It's basically 5 years straight of training. Then they start running, and then we get a little bit of insight into... Not insight, but we get an example of how the mist works with, like, the Chimera looking like a poodle. Mm-hmm. Right? To, like, this, like, random family that's on the train.
Yep.
So then they escape from... They escape from the train, they leave, and then we get to...
They're going to Athena's...
Yeah. So they escape, and they start to wonder, like, where are we going to go? And Annabeth mentions that there's an Athenian temple. That Athenian temple is the Arch, which is in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in St. Louis. Mm-hmm. So they go to try and escape from the Chimera, because no monsters can enter the temple, right? They go there, and Annabeth just completely... worships this monument, right? She's very into architecture. She's very excited about it. She makes a sly comment toward Poseidon being the god of earthquakes, you know what I mean?
Those structures
mentions that the monument is created perfectly.
Perfectly, yeah.
By one of Athena's children, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah. By one of Athena's children. And then Grover looks like... The thing's dedicated to hunting. Yep. You know what I mean? It can be dedicated to two things at once, I think. You know what I mean? It might have been built for Athena, but the whole arch also has a very long and convoluted history with, like, the whole close extinction of the bison. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a bunch of bison hunting. They got their skulls there.
Mm-hmm. So, and obviously Grover's not going to fuck with that. He's a satyr.
I mean, he doesn't like hunting in general.
Yeah. You know, he doesn't like when people mess with animals. So, he leaves to go find, I guess, some sort of... Oh, yeah, he leaves to see if they can go, like, find a train to get to LA. And then...
Oh, wait, you forgot they also talked about why they can't go on planes.
No, I think I mentioned that, right? That it was because of Zeus?
I think so.
No,
I think we did that. I think we mentioned that before.
You said we're gonna talk about it later, but then you skipped over.
Oh, yeah.
I think I mentioned it very slightly that they have the whole Zeus conversation, and then... Which... I said, I'll explain it later, and then I was like, oh, we already... Okay. So yeah, they can't take planes, so they can't really use... It's also the reason why Grover has the shoes, right? Mm-hmm. Percy can't do anything with, like, sky-related, because since it's Zeus's domain, Zeus can do what he wants, and just... You know what I mean?
Especially since he's a forbidden child, in which Zeus... Hypocritical as hell. He was the one who broke it first, and now he's trying to kill a forbidden child. You know what?
Exactly.
You can't, bro.
Like I said, the gods are very hypocritical.
Yeah.
The gods are very arrogant, hypocritical, self-righteous. It's the whole thing throughout the
They're pretty accurate. Almost accurate.
The next note I have is Percy is literally mean because he starts talking about how he has a shitty dad.
He starts to mention how
how he tells Annabeth, honestly, you've done for me in the past few days than my father has ever done for me in my life.
More. You forgot. You're forgetting your words.
You know what?
Incomplete sentence.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, basically he mentions his father's absent and that he doesn't really. He mentions even more of how much he doesn't like the gods and their ways.
Yeah.
And how much he hates his father.
Yeah, and he says that Annabeth's done more for him. And Annabeth starts to say, oh, like, you almost called me a friend. Which, call back to the last episode, how that's the reason he chose Annabeth, right?
Because he doesn't see them being friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he collapses. He collapses because the thing he got stung with was, in fact, poisonous, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they take him to like a fountain, right, and just start splashing water on him, right, like in the middle of
all the passerbys are just looking at them like they're crazy.
Well,
which I can't blame them. I would too.
Yeah.
I would be recording and be like, look at these
look at these fucking losers. Look at these weirdos at the fucking arch.
Only in St. Louis, bro.
So we have nothing nice.
Gen Z, bro, and they're just recording it happening. But
And
they find out the reason why their stupid water isn't working is because they need, what was it, salt water? Ocean water?
well, they don't mention it, I guess, but it's not working, I guess.
Yep.
It could be because it's not. Annabeth mentions maybe it needs to be like a naturally running water source, right?
Yeah. Which,
In the books, it is mainly salt water that helps them. The Mississippi River is fresh water, though, and I'll get to that later. But yeah, so it doesn't heal him. It could also be because he's not very close to his dad, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't learn how to
and
breathe.
He just shit talking like fucking.
Yeah, he doesn't learn how to breathe underwater until the end of the episode.
yep.
So basically, they're there, and Echidna starts chasing them, right? Like, they see her, they start to go up to the arch, because if they go up to the highest place, that's where the altar of Athena is, and then they can pray to her, right? But then as they're going up there,
The god,
yeah, why is
the
he
monster.
Echidna walks into the temple anyway. And we learn that it can only be let in through Athena. Which obviously, how did it get in? Fucking Athena.
Yep. It's because my 12-year-old daughter was being impertinent, so I had to send her to her death.
They got offended because they sent the head of a Medusa up there.
Perseus sent the head of Medusa to Athena.
He even put on a note that it was him.
Yeah. Percy sent, in the original myths, Perseus sent it to Athena, and he was rewarded with a nice ending. In this one, Percy, a friend of Annabeth's, sends it to the Olympians, not even Athena in general, and then Athena's just like, fuck you, because you're a woman.
Wait,
and then
maybe she wanted it directly towards her from her children.
No, I don't know, because
it's all like, it wasn't for me.
I fucking hate Athena so far. It's just, oh my god. Anyways,
Yep.
Annabeth actually mimics a line from Medusa about how saying, I embarrassed her. I embarrassed my mother. Which I guess Athena gets embarrassed really easily because, I don't fucking know, she has a complex or something.
Probably.
I don't know. It's just, oh my god. Like,
Literally
really?
I mean, she came from Zeus, so
She's
maybe she
literally a
got...
god.
maybe
She came
got
from
arrogance.
Zeus's thoughts. So...
Yeah, so that might explain a lot.
That explains a lot of things. Seriously though, like, she's 12. She makes one mistake. Her friend does something because he's angry at all the gods, so you punish your daughter. It's the Medusa thing all over again. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Punishes her daughter by sending the mother of all monsters straight into her own temple so that she can kill her 12-year-old daughter. Obviously, I guess it's not to kill her, but, like, still. You know what I mean?
It's still
Not to
pretty
provide
much...
protection.
Exactly. She's just like, you won't get no help from me, bitch, because you're a woman.
Basically, just,
Athena
like,
hates
endangerment.
women, canonically. So...
You know what, that's... No.
No, Athena's one of those,
Bro,
I'm not like
she's
the
not
other
from Zeus's
girls.
thoughts, bro. Zeus loves women.
He loves using
Shit,
women.
he turned
but-
into a bull for them.
And a swan, Helen of Troy, was birthed from an egg because Zeus fucked a woman while he was a swan.
I forgot there's a lot of animal sex, huh?
Didn't he
Yeah.
ride around with the woman as a bull across the
He
country?
was a very handsome bull, canonically.
And they clapped across the country.
No.
Oh,
He took her to Europe,
Oh.
right? Named the whole continent after her, which is where we get Europe. It was
Oh.
Europa. Rode her, like, they rode back, and then he fucked her as a bull. So... Zeus has a lot of sexism.
They were wild in back then, bro. Video games causes violence while we were spreading these myths to our children.
You see that? Remember that one post was like a handsome gorilla in the Japanese zoo?
Yes! Oh my god! Like, the fucking, like,
I forgot about that.
Like, the zoo got a massive increase of female, like, tourists or something.
Because the
gorilla was so handsome. We're not gonna keep talking about this. I don't want to.
Zeus returns?
Zeus returns?
Don't ever let that girl
He woke up from that sleep Apollo put him in, bro.
Anyways, so they go up there, and Percy's just doing bad. He's doing bad. They go up there, and Annabeth is about to sacrifice herself. Mm-hmm. Annabeth is gonna, like, give them enough time to go away, kind of like how Thali did. Mm-hmm. Percy's about to offer her a sword, and I thought they were gonna do, like, the whole thing, like, because again, already a couple things are different. I thought he was gonna, like, surrender to her, because Chiron mentions that in the first episode, that it always comes back to him unless he surrenders it. No, he gives it to her and then pulls her back into the stairway. And he says to fight the Chimera, and he gets absolutely fucked by it. Just, he slashes at its foot, and then just gets smacked in the face. Mm-hmm. I don't know how he's still conscious.
Yep.
Echidna somehow causes a hole to open in the arch, right? And he falls down it, and he's hanging on by 3 fingers, right? He's got the grip strength of a god, right? Literally. Yep. And then people are shit-talking Percy so much this episode. Like, I even forgot to mention it. How she makes a sly comment towards his mother, you know, like, early on. Like, oh, because that's what a good mother does for her children. Not that you would know. And then she starts talking about, like, oh, like, if only someone cared enough about you to give you a chance or whatever. Which... Again, that pisses me off, and I don't know if Percy ever kills her in one of the later books. Because I think Riordan, like, just might have forgotten about it or something. I don't know, but, like, she pissed me off this episode. Like, shut the fuck up, alright?
I mean,
you fucked a primordial god, and you gave birth to something that had talons, alright? That's already on you, you know what I mean? Actually, I got that wrong. She did not fuck up. She fucked Typhon, which, is the way... a literal fucking disaster. Like, I don't mean like he's an actual disaster. You know? I don't know how you fuck that, but I guess you do. He falls in the books. Gotta hit different, in the books, he falls into the Mississippi River. Because the author thought that it was right underneath the arch. Right? And when asked about it, he was like, someone's just like, oh, how do you explain the math of Percy falling from the arch into the river? And he was just like, oh, I just thought it was right underneath it. So they change it into the books where Poseidon grabs him, right? He manipulates the Mississippi River and grabs him and pulls him to safety, right? And he starts panicking because, I mean, he's underwater, he's trapped, right? Until Nerad comes in with the voice of his mother, right? To calm him down, right? To let him know that his father's here, his father's been watching, his father's been protecting him.
He's very proud of you.
And then he takes his first breath, right, underwater, and then that's how the episode ends. The episode ends right there.
With him awakening some more of his powers. So he's going to get a little power boost after getting absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, so, well, yeah, that's how it happens. You see that the poison's kind of gone, I guess, you know? He doesn't look to be in pain. He's under the water. I like this better than the first episode, but not as much as the second one, I guess. It'd be like 7.5 to 8, I guess.
Yeah. I thought it was good. Definitely a lot more action-packed, a lot more...
very straightforward.
Moving things forward.
Yeah.
Which I do like, because I think that's definitely what it needed after the last 3 episodes. Definitely keep things moving. But it felt a little less focused on the characters. Obviously, it did have its moments where it did focus on the characters, but it focused more on the story itself, trying to get things...
on progressing it.
Yeah. Which definitely helped, if I'm going to be honest.
Your rating?
Let's see. I give it like a 7.5. Maybe an 8. Somewhere around there. Just 7 to 8. Pretty good. I liked it.
Alright. What about you, Gianni? Your thoughts?
Like a 7.
7? Yeah. What did you think about it?
Yeah, it's a good episode. It's just a little not as good as the third one.
Okay.
I feel like it was more straightforward, so, less content to talk about and shit.
That is true. That's
I
true.
mean, it definitely helps in this case because we
Yeah.
kind of
we were running short on time. We learn I hate Athena, and everybody tells Percy no one loves him. Which that's my main summary for
Well,
the
they
lesson.
started the episode with his mom.
No, I think that's a very nice parallel where it goes like, okay, like his mom trying to get him to do this one thing because he's gonna need it because this is how she's trying to
I think
show
they put
him
that
like
there for a friendly reminder for the viewers.
yeah, they're definitely building up like Sally,
Yeah.
and like a little bit more, and then it's juxtaposed by the rest of the episode by Echidna telling Percy that no one cares for him.
Not only that, Athena abandoning her child.
Athena abandoning her child, and even kind of sort of towards Grover where he goes there and Annabeth just blows him off when he wants to mention like bison were killed here. All these animals were killed. And then she blows him off because no, it's Athena. And then Athena
It's her culture, bro.
abandons her, Mm-hmm. So I like the juxtaposition.
More Western culture.
Mm-hmm.
So she just shrugged it off.
Yeah, but culture is still culture. It's still there. You can't just forget about it, and that's what gets Grover mad about it. And then she sort of mentions like, oh, like I shouldn't have snapped at him, but I don't think she really apologized. Like they don't have.
No, she didn't apologize.
They didn't get the chance to because they got jumped.
Yeah, they didn't get the chance to. I think like we're halfway through the series. Your thoughts on the series overall, how it's going?
Halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 8 episodes, and we're on episode 4.
Let's see.
How many
Obviously,
chapters in the first book?
Chapters?
like, you
There's
said, like
24.
20, right? Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember children.
Yeah, we already mentioned this in the last episode. I never really indulged in Percy Jackson except the first movie, which I forgot completely about, except like the first like few minutes.
Carry my.
Yup, that's the one part I remember the most. Just that casino scene, best scene ever. This is my first time watching Percy Jackson. I think it's pretty cool. I never really indulge much in like mythos stuff, but I do know a little bit about Greek stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. I like the representation, and it's definitely very accurate with the gods and how they're all douchebags.
Exactly, yeah. I'm a mythology buff. Greek, Roman, Norse, Egyptian.
You're not both.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a mythology buff.
You should hear the stories this man pulls out in a Denny's restaurant. You should hear about how the Egyptians love their salad.
Okay, iceberg lettuce specifically.
Iceberg
if you guys,
lettuce.
if you guys want a little story, no,
Let's talk about it.
No, I'm not gonna talk about it.
We got some time.
No, but I gotta go pick up my siblings. Look at the time.
We can sacrifice them for
it's
salad.
3:13.
So just to finish off the episode, all right. If you guys want a little story, search up the god Set and iceberg lettuce. All right, we'll get that. Randy, will you do us the honors?
Get ready for this.
Goodbye.
No, you're supposed to say
What?
the thing. See ya.
Oh yeah, that's what I said.
See ya.